So obviously we don't live in a perfect world, but if I could draft my perfect draft, knowing that it was going to go chalk or almost exactly as ADP dictates, there's usually going to be maybe 10 to 15% variancy depending on your platform, depending on your league mates. But I'm going to try and incorporate that into this draft idea as well. So including the 1 to 3 pick range, I'm also going to be thinking about a little bit of variancy. So I might add a pick or two plus or minus. Also, for the record, there's no notes. This is just me talking. Which, if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. All right, so starting off, if I was picking at the 1, 2, or 3 spot. So right off the bat, my first pick would be none other than Jamar Chase. If I'm going for the anchor wide receiver strat, or if I wanted to switch it up and I was going a little bit later, or if you're picking at 2 or 3, you're probably not going to get Jamar Chase, so I'd be either taking Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs for more of a hero RB build. I think both Bijan and Jahmyr have the upside to be the number 1 running back in fantasy football, and obviously Jamar Chase should finish as a wide receiver 1. So now if we're working through it, we're going through tick, 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 and then it goes into reverse order, tick, 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 tick. So if we're picking at 1 or 3, more than realistically, it's probably going to be Josh Allen, the best case scenario. Trey McBride, it's probably like your second best case scenario. And then obviously we're going to have more than likely these last 3 guys and dig a little bit into the next round. So if we're thinking about like that, I don't want to go with the big name QB this year in the draft. My best case scenario would be to go with my big standout tight end. That would be Trey McBride. He would be my preferential person to draft him. If I can't get Trey McBride, it kind of depends on what I did. If I had to go with one of the running backs, then more than likely I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey. If I was able to get Jamar Chase, I'm probably now going to pair him with Josh Jacobs. And worst case scenario, if Ladd's not there for the wide receivers, because I can see somebody snagging him, I would move all the way down to T. Higgins, and I would hop right over Tyreek Hill. Now, going into there, obviously in the 3rd round, I'm going to have my pick of who I want. If I didn't already grab T. Higgins, or if I did, it really doesn't matter. I like T. Higgins. If I have Trey McBride, I'm probably going to go with whatever position I didn't draft in the 1st round. So if I got my tight end 2nd round, I'm going to go opposite of this. If I didn't get Trey McBride and I had one of these guys, whether it's a wide receiver or a running back, again, if I have 2 wide receivers in the 3rd round, I'm probably not taking a wide receiver. But if I had a running back and a wide receiver, or a wide receiver and a running back, depending, I'm probably going to go with best player available. So more than likely I'm going to either end up with a Garrett Wilson, who I think is going to smash this year, or a Chase Brown. Really depends on what's available and who I want. Again, Garrett Wilson's going to be in a smash spot. Justin Fields pretty much only target. And then for Chase Brown, last year he was exploding after week 3 or week 4 when he started to actually get touches. He's going to be a top 10 running back in fantasy football, and I'm not having to draft him quite that high, so I love that. Into the 4th round, again, it's going to reverse. So all of these people are going to go away. All these people are going to go away. And then again, it's like best case scenario is probably Kenneth Walker all the way through Chuba and into the beginning of these wide receivers right here. So at this point in time, there's just too much running back talent right here to not take one of these guys, because somebody's going to be available. If they're all gone, I'm going to smash at wide receiver somewhere up in here. Just what's going to happen. But more than likely, there's going to be some running backs. So for my running backs, I would happily take Kenneth Walker if he's available. I would happily take Joe Mixon if he's available. And I would be ecstatic to be able to find Chuba Hubbard at this point in time. So I'll take any 3 of those guys in my 4th round. From there, again, we have the reverse. So I get the first pick of this round as well. So for me, it's going to be pretty easy, kind of chalky, but I would love to have Courtland Sutton or DK Metcalf. When it comes to Courtland Sutton, he's going to be the number 1 target earner on this team. There is a chance the Denver Broncos have a top 10 scoring offense in 2025. It's not really the case for DK Metcalf, unfortunately. The Steelers this year are going to not be a top 10 offense, but he is going to be the primary target earner, and he might be like I don't even know how high of a target percentage he could get, but it's going to be pretty nasty if they don't pick anybody else up before the season starts. And I think DK Metcalf is still top 20 real NFL wide receiver. Aaron Rodgers looked a little bit better at the end of last season. He kind of shaped He kind of shook the rust off a little bit, so I'm anticipating seeing a big season out of DK, probably one of his better seasons he's had in fantasy football. And for Cortland Sutton, I anticipate to kind of see him continue where he left off last season and kind of forget about the first 4 or 5 weeks when Bo Nix was figuring out his life. So now going into the 6th round, you're going to hear the tick, 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 tick. So best case scenario is probably going to be Jerry Jeudy. From there, hopefully some of these running backs are available. We'll kind of see what happens. Obviously, Quinshon Judkins is going to fall down these rankings here soon. So for me, it really depends on what I need on my team at this point in time. And this is kind of like where it starts to become variable on what you need. But if I'm sitting in the spot where I'm picking towards the end of this round, if Jerry Jeudy's available, I will probably take Jerry Jeudy. If he's not available, I will happily take Tet. And if I don't need wide receiver at all, because I've been taking way too many wide receivers, I would smash RJ Harvey. So I guess when it comes to my wide receivers, if I went really heavy wide receiver through here, I'm probably not taking Jerry Jeudy or Tet. I'm more than likely going to take RJ Harvey. I think RJ Harvey is a smash pick in fantasy football. I think he's actually being kind of undervalued. He's going as like, I think, RB24 if I'm not mistaken. So you're getting him as a bottom of the barrel running back 2. He could realistically finish as an RB1 fringe player or a very high RB2. So again, I'm not drafting him at a ceiling like a Myron Hampton or Ashton Genty, so I feel like I'm getting some value on that pick as well. So from there, in round 6, we picked at the end. So now we're picking at the beginning of round 7. I'm not the hugest fan of this round. I don't know why, but I feel like it starts to get a little sick. But for me, I do still have 3 people that I like that I think are not being valued where they should be. The first is going to be TreVeyon Henderson. So if I need running back help, I love TreVeyon. I kind of have been trying to pair these 2 guys in my draft when I can because I feel like they both have very high upside. It's not always easy to obviously pair them, and there's obviously no incentive to pair them as far as like stacking goes, but I just like those 2 players. Next is going to be Khalil Shakir. Again, I have the whole pick of the whole round, so I'm going to go with Khalil Shakir, and then Calvin Ridley is my other favorite one. So these are my 3 most picked players, and when I'm going that early, I can literally pick any of them. I'm not having to worry about variancy. Unless someone really reached on somebody, I could have any 3 of these guys, well, one of them at least. So for TreVeyon Henderson, they're going to want to run the ball a lot for the Patriots. Drake May's going to take a step up, smash. He's again going as what, running back 25. So again, I feel like I'm getting some value on this pick. When it comes to Khalil Shakir, he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver. If people really thought Keon Coleman was going to be the guy, he wouldn't be going so late in drafts. Khalil Shakir is going to be just as involved as he was mid-season last year. He's really going to take over the role as the wide receiver 1 for this football team, who's going to be a top 5, top 10 worst case scenario scoring offense. So smash pick right there. Calvin Ridley is again not going to be on the top 10 scoring offense, but I do anticipate seeing Cam Ward be a lot more effective and a lot better this year in real football, which will translate over to fantasy football. And I really don't think there's any other target earners on this team aside from maybe Chika Okonkwo, who could be taking away targets from Calvin. So I think he's going to be a smash pick in fantasy as well, especially where he's going. We draft at the beginning, so now we got to go through all of this. So now we're looking at a situation where our best pick is probably Cooper Kupp, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Stephon Diggs, Caleb Johnson. So this is the point in time where I'm thinking about taking a tight end at round 8. I do like the idea of taking Evan Ingram. I think he's a good pick. I think he's going to be another great option on the Broncos team. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer. If you want to wait later for maybe a Tucker Kraft, I think you can. I think Tucker Kraft is another guy who's going later, obviously, in your drafts, who's going to have a decent amount of upside as well. So if you don't want to take tight end still, or if I obviously already had Trey McBride, then I wouldn't be taking a second tight end. My other picks that I'd be wanting to take at the end of the round would be Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs wasn't put on the PUP list, so I think he'll be healthy and ready to go at the beginning of the season. He will be the wide receiver 1 on this team until Kyle Williams emerges, if he emerges this season, which I think that he will. And until then, Stephon Diggs is the number 1 target earner for a significantly improved offensive unit in the Patriots. And then for my last one that I'd be willing to take is Caleb Johnson. I, again, just made a video about this, but I think RJ Harvey, TreVeyon, and Caleb Johnson are all set to smash in fantasy football. So, again, if I can't get TreVeyon and RJ Harvey, I've been snagging RJ Harvey and Caleb Johnson a lot as well. I'm trying to get 2 of these 3 guys because I feel like there's a lot of value on those picks. If I can't get 2, I'm definitely getting 1. And in that case, usually it's RJ Harvey. Worst case scenario, it's Caleb Johnson because, again, where he's going in your drafts. So from here, we're going to have the reversal. So again, we're going to have our pick of who we want. I still am not going to take a quarterback here just because I feel like I don't want Herbert. I don't want Jordan Love. I don't want Brock Purdy. Caleb Williams is interesting. I think he's actually a good pick at where he's going. So if you are unsure of QB, Caleb Williams is in a great situation this year with Ben Johnson. And I think he's a decent pick right here. I still don't want to go QB. I'm still waiting on a Drake May or a Justin Fields. It's kind of where I'm at and what I'm thinking about. So I'm going to wait on him, even though he's a good pick here. So what I'd be more than likely to do, because again, I have the whole pick here, I'm either going to go down into round 10 and find somebody I like even more, which I don't really know off the top of my head who's going in round 10. But out of these players available, I don't think Ricky Pearsall really belongs here. So it's hard to take Ricky Pearsall, especially with him going on the PUP list already. So the only player I really like in this round that I trust, because I don't trust Travis Etienne, I don't like all the target competition in Green Bay. Ramondre can't hold on the football. I can go on all day. Also, for the record, there's no notes. This is just me talking, which if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. So scrolling up, the only person I'd be willing to take in that round, in round 9, would be Josh Downs. I think he's set to be the wide receiver 1 for this Colts team. Very much like DK Metcalf, he is going to pretty much be the main target earner on this team. Obviously, there's a little more target competition for the Colts, but is it really that great? I don't think so personally. I don't like the quarterback situation. But Daniel Jones made Malik Neighbors viable in fantasy, so hopefully he can make Josh Downs the exact same way. And again, if you're not a Josh Downs or a Colts believer, I'm not a Colts believer, I guess, but if you're not into the Colts or the Colts situation, find somebody in round 10 that you're more in love with than Josh Downs. So essentially speaking, these are the guys I want to have on my team rounds 1 through round 9. If I was picking at 1, 2, or 3, I tried to account for a little bit of variancy and also flexing down, but obviously some of the picks are going to go pretty chalky if you're picking 1 through 3. So in a perfect world, which again, we don't exist, and like I said at the beginning, those are the guys I'd be picking through the first 9 rounds with a little bit of flexibility in there for you. It's pretty hard because some of those people I've been drafting over and over again, especially the ones where I'm kind of reaching a little bit because I am that confident in where they are going to finish in fantasy football in 2025. If you guys want to see any of my other rankings videos, they should be around here somewhere for the other positional groups versus like a list of the top 9 rounds, like as far as ADP goes. These are my personal rankings. Hopefully this video helps you get just a little bit closer to winning your fantasy football championship in 2025. Hopefully I'll see you guys again. No, hopefully you guys will see me again real soon. Until then, y'all have a blessed day. Bye.